Okay, Hal, so we're from the Independence Innovation Team, and we ask questions a lot, and we love the title of your book, which is Questions Are the Answers. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with that and why.
Whether it's going global, whether it's leading change, whether it's trying to innovate better, we're always operating on the edge of the unknown, the edge of uncertainty. And when you and I, personally or organizationally, operate on that edge of uncertainty, there are no answers.
That's right.
And so by definition, questions are the answer on the edge of uncertainty. And that's the spirit from which this book emerged. Working with leaders, talking to them for the last 30 years, frankly, people who are operating on those unknown edges, but doing it exceptionally well. And all of them, without exception, they ask questions in order to build the better answer.
So I always hear there's no such thing as a dumb question. Do you think that's true?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think there are dumb questions.
Okay, we think so too.
When someone asks a question and they're unwilling to put in the hard effort to try to answer the question, I think it's a dumb question.
That's a good way to think about it.
We all know people who ask 1,000 questions, right?
Yeah.
And the one word I hear all over the world that describes those people is annoying. And we all know it.
Yeah.
But the annoyance factor disappears if that same individual is asking a question and willing to answer it. They're no longer quite as annoying.
That's true.
And that's what I'm
That's
trying to
true.
say is, if we're only asking questions to be clever, they're dumb questions.
So, look, we're in health insurance. We are a really risk-averse business. So you can imagine being the innovation team has been really interesting in a health insurance environment, right? And I think we find with our leaders in particular that we ask a lot of questions, right? But sometimes it's hard to get them to come along and understand that it's okay to be in the question phase.
Yeah.
Do you have tips for that?
So Abby Johnson, who's in a related world of financial services where it's also a bit conservative, she's the chairman of Fidelity. She basically said, look, we have such a bias towards just action. Give us a problem, solve it. Give us a problem, solve it. Give us a problem, solve it. It's all answer driven.
Yeah.
But she said we really miss the bigger picture and sometimes the bigger problems if we don't step back to ask the bigger questions. And so one thing that anybody can do to start opening up that avenue to a better question, it's a simple exercise. I call it a question burst.
Okay.
So imagine you've got a challenge right now that you don't have an answer to. We get a piece of paper and a pen and we set a timer for 4 minutes.
Okay.
You and I generate nothing but questions for 4 flat out minutes. No answers to the questions, no explanations about why we're asking the questions. And if we follow those rules, at the end of that 4 minutes, we'll have 15 to 20 questions. And here's what else will happen. We will be more optimistic. We will have reframed our challenge, and we will have at least one new idea to take it down a new path 80% of the time in 4 simple minutes. And so it could be that I'm currently in a company or an organization where we don't ask that many questions. And the starting point becomes just pick a problem you care about that you might be stuck on and do this quick question burst exercise as a way to engage others, get a new question, and get up and get out and get a new answer.
I love that. That's awesome. We can do that. That's great.
It is actually.
Yeah. No, I know. It's fantastic. We do a lot of, we have a tool we call 20 questions, and it's essentially
Very
that,
similar?
right? Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, we try to name things, we use all design tools in our work, right? So we
great.
name things exactly what they are, so there's no mystery. We don't
I
want it to sound
love
like some
it.
crazy, mysterious, but it's exactly that. It's getting together and just asking questions, putting those together before we get a stakeholder in a room to figure out
I love it.
where do we start with this, right? Great. Hal, thanks so much for talking to us. We're so excited to have you in Philadelphia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.